This year sucked. This has not been a good year at all. Not just for the channel, but in life in general. A lot of learning curves really is the big part of it all. I took on a new position at my job, and I was thinking it would get a lot better, and I also thought a lot of other things would improve in life. My dad had a stroke in 2021, and we were hoping that at some point during this last year he would recover, and he's improved, but it's not been a drastic improvement. And the job I work at, the job that I took has been a massive taking. So obviously something had to give during that time, and unfortunately it was making YouTube videos that I like to do. And but it all, at the end of the day, comes back to me just, it was all my fault because I couldn't push through all of it and just make videos, but my heart wasn't in the place, and it's ultimately me at the end of the day that why this channel didn't do so well in 2022. It's really all I can say. Some good stuff did happen during 2022. I sponsored Danny Cochran, and in the season that I decided to sponsor with him, he won the championship in the ISRC Truck Series. I did a lot of promotions with that, and I did a lot of sponsorship for that as well, and I will continue it this year. Video, if it's not already out already, coming soon. And that really, honestly, to me, feels like that was the big bulk of everything I did in 2022, because I didn't get to go out a whole lot to do Larry Tries videos. I rarely got boxes from people, not being an asshole about that. Not being like, they should have sent me more stuff, but just, I didn't buy a lot of things from friends, and a lot of my friends didn't send me stuff for free. I'm not asking for stuff for free, obviously, but I'm just, the content was lacking in one way. And the one thing I really regret is the Secret Transformer show taking the hit that it did this year. On its anniversary, all I put out was a podcast. And I'll be honest with you guys, I was not happy with that product when I was making it, and I'm not happy with it still. So very unlikely I'm ever going to do one of those again. That was just a last second me trying to do something for the anniversary. I missed the 10th anniversary of the American Reviewer. I had plans for it leading up to it, had big plans for it, and date came when it went away. Feels so bad. I really do, but 2023, hopefully all that changes. But let's not talk about the future just yet. Let's dwell a little bit on the past. 2022 in collecting terms was crazy. I had all this disposable income, and I needed a lot of serotonin. So I bought, I'm not going to disclose how much money worth of stuff from not just Transformers, but die casts and Funko Pops and Lego sets and all that. It is a big year for collecting. And it has also made me very much aware that I have a huge issue with spending. And I hope that next year I don't even spend half of what I spent this year. Especially since I hope to get a car soon. But anyway, let's do the top 15 of 2022 list. Let's go. Before we do that, of course, let's do our honorable mentions. I'm going to try my best to just rocket fire this as fast as I can. Legacy G-Axis, I got this just the other day, and I do dig him. He's really nice. Fans Hobby Arch Enemy, Mason Brown, I bought this from him, and I really dig it. It's simple, but it doesn't need to be complicated. I found another one of these, the Dark of the Moon. Takara Dark of the Moon, Leadfoot. Crazy, right? X-Transbot Arcos G2. My friend Dilba Digital, I made a bunch of animateds for him. and he bought this figure, and he showed me how it was, and I thought it was cool. So I got it myself. It's neat. The world's smallest Optimus Prime. Perfectly vorable size. Authentics Wheeljack, Bumblebee movie, Studio Series Wheeljack. I love Wheeljack, he's my favorite, second favorite Autobot, and I really dig him. He's a little spindly, the Studio Series guy, and this guy's just missing a few. It's a bit bulky, quite honestly. I don't know what I'm trying to get at, but I like them both. Legacy Silver Streak. I've always wanted one of these, so I'm glad that they made it. Hooray. Studio Series 86 Rumble. That is what he is. He's blue. I don't give a shit. It's Rumble. Look at him. Wreck and Rule Collection Leadfoot. I'm so glad we finally got a G2 Leadfoot reimagination. I've been waiting for this for a very long time. The next two items was on the list at one point, but I ultimately got a few other things that I thought were more important. But we have Calidus, MMC's Calidus. I wanted this figure so bad, and then I got him, and he was just okay. Sad. And finally, on the list of honorable mentions is Legacy Cosmos. Wonderful little dude. Thanks so much, Dakota, for getting me this, because I never saw this in person. It's wonderful. All right, let's get on with the list. So, I am a little late on this one. In 2021, it was almost like a sisterhood of the Traveling Pants with this, with the Crosshairs Productions. Joe had this, Max had this, I forgot who else got it too, but I pre-ordered it at the time, but I had to cancel it because of finances and all that stuff. So, finally, I got it. It was in a bundle, and I've been happy to have it. Super Megatron. I like it. I don't love it. It's not my favorite Megatron toy ever, but like, it's still cool. It really does improve the Titans Return Galvatron mold a lot. And it looks so badass while doing it. It really is. I think it's worth it. Well, what I paid was, it was in a bundle, so it was like $150, $170, I don't remember. And it came with Star Convoy, and it came with Core Hot Rod for some reason, but this was ultimately the reason I bought the whole lot, and I'm really happy about it. I'm glad to finally have it, even if it isn't as amazing as I've been told it is, but it's still wonderful, and I really do enjoy it. So Legacy happened this year, and I think it's been a fun series. But there's been this little thing that they've done with Prime characters where they G1-ified them. And there are 3 of the Prime characters that came out this year, and some have been good, some have been alright, some have been eh. To me, this is the one I think that did it right. Legacy Knockout. I very much enjoy Knockout's design in Prime. So whenever I heard originally, a long time ago, that they were going to do a remold of the Jazz, Studio Series Jazz mold, I was very perplexed. I was like, what the hell, how's that going to work? And honestly, it works fine in my opinion. It does have bigger bosoms than he probably should, but I think it does the job. RC's okay. I don't like it though. I mean, I get the idea that they were going for, but it just doesn't feel right. And Bulkhead seems more of an animated thing to me. I think Bulkhead's good in its own regard if you just don't think it's a Prime thing. I think if it's a G1 Bulkhead, it does its job. But this thing, I really do jig, is not only as a G1 version of Knockout, but like, you could use this as a Prime Knockout in my opinion. It's not perfect, it's not one-to-one, but I dig it. I really do dig it. I've been wanting this figure for quite some time, and I finally got it, and I've been so happy that it did. Animated Swindle. I love Swindle. He's my favorite Combaticon, and since, you know, Animated gave him an actual character and made him, you know, have like a own thing, aside from being Bruticus, this has been, I've been wanting this, and finally I found one for a okay price. It it came into my home, and I've enjoyed it ever since. I really like everything about it. It's so, all the transparent purple bits. Are we allowed to say transparent again? Not that, I said the word trans. It's just that I remember there was a big debacle back in the day. You couldn't say transparent plastic. It's transparent, I know. I like Swindle. That's all I gotta say. This means a lot to me. This character does. And to finally have a figure of it is awesome. It is, I think, Legends Deadlock. I have the list here and I don't remember. I was blanked. I thought it was United. Legends Deadlock. I have always wanted Deadlock ever since I've been a part of Transformers Ascension as the voice of Deadlock / Drift. Which, that was also another amazing thing about this year I forgot to mention. We confirmed that Ascension Drift is a weeb. And I have been oh so happy that we finally got that done. But that's beside the point. This thing is a work of art. And I think it was Jackson, Shockwave514, who found this on a good deal on Facebook and pointed it in my way. And I have been mesmerized by this thing ever since. It's just so pretty. It's just, it's so wonderful. I was trying to actually do a custom Deadlock, but I bought a blur for it, and then, the blur head didn't work, and I just sat there, I was like, I don't want to get rid of this. I kept the blur. So I'm glad I kind of waited for the moment until one day I do have an Ascension accurate Deadlock. But for now, this is proudly on my Ascension shelf as Deadlock. I just pretend that I voiced this version of the Deadlock. I just close my eyes and just hope and pray. So ever since getting on this animated kick on getting figures, this one has been a want. And finally, I sat down and found a good deal on one. And I don't regret it. Animated Leader Megatron. So for a while, I didn't want this thing because I thought it would be too big for the animated shelf. But when you realize that that Deluxe Lockdown is actually almost the tallest figure, a Deluxe, mind you, and Voyager Shockwave is also very tall. I think that this is an okay scale, honestly. So, it is awesome. And this thing does all the things. Corey Burton. I love it. I'm surprised the batteries haven't corroded the hell out of this thing. But yeah, I'm so glad to have my favorite Megatron, honestly. I had this discussion the other night that Dark of the Moon Megatron's my favorite design. But this is my overall favorite Megatron to ever be created. Just look at him. The riz on this man. This means a lot to me. I love this character. It was ironic, but it eventually became much more than irony, I guess. And I have voiced this character in some stop motions, and I've enjoyed doing the voice to this character periodically ever since I saw this character on the big screen. Studio Series Hot Rod! So they finally made a fucking Studio Series Hot Rod that is... They knocked it out of the park. So when they described this thing, they said it was like a mini masterpiece. And I thought, what the hell does that mean? And when you transform it, it makes sense. It really does. This thing, I'm surprised, is a deluxe class. I'm surprised they didn't chuck this in Voyager because of the engineering. And that's what's so funny, is that Hot Rod is the one to, show off the engineering of the Studio Series line so well. Whether it's Hot Rod, 86 Hot Rod, who is just a deluxe in a Voyager box, but the transformation on it is so perfect. And now we have Deluxe Hot Rod from Studio Series, who, it's a character probably no one gives a shit about. And they'd made him transform so elegantly. There's a couple things about it that I'm not a big fan of. But otherwise, they knocked it out of the park. And they didn't need to. They could have easily re-released the Last Night Hot Rod and just called it a day. But they didn't. They sat down and put their work to it, and they made, genuinely, one of the most well-engineered figures of the whole year. And I commend them. It's so good. I genuinely recommend this to almost everybody to find. Like, I know it's just number 10 on the list, but, like, go get it. It is so well done. It's beautiful. Truly beautiful. It almost was a higher point in this list, but the rest of these kind of were a little bit better. When this figure came out, I kept hearing only good things about it, but I felt like it didn't look like it deserved that praise. I don't know if that makes sense. I look at it, and it just felt like there's no way it's that good. So I let it slide, and I never bothered getting it. And then whenever I finally decided, yeah, I do want it, they're gone. Just completely gone. And then people were selling it for outrageous prices, like hundreds of dollars. I found it at a flea market for not a price that's great, but it definitely is, I think, fine. Studio Series 86 Grimlock. I feel bad that I didn't just get this whenever it came out and just listen to my friends. This thing is awesome. It is such a perfect Grimlock. And I think my problem with it is that it is a Grimlock toy. It transforms exactly like almost every Grimlock toy. It is just the same thing again. But it's so nice. It has such a beautiful way about it. And that's all I can really say is I feel bad for not getting this whenever it came out. And I think at one point I did want it when it was out, but the problem was I didn't have money whenever I wanted to go find it. And then whenever I had money to go find it, they were gone and they were out of stock. So finally to have this, it's wonderful. It really is. It is worth, I wouldn't say $100. I wouldn't even say $80. That's the price I paid for. I would still find this if you can. And if you think it's worth whatever price you think it is worth, I'd spring for it. The wheelie's garbage, though. I put it in my weapons box. I don't ever plan to really use it ever. Okay. So there was a point of this. I did not want this thing because I thought it looked odd and I thought they could do better. Well, they never have tried again. It has been it has been 5 years, and they've not tried again. So, in my opinion, this is it. This is the only way we're going to get this character for now. I imagine as soon as I turn this video off, there's going to be leaks about this character getting a new figure. Anyway, but they were on eBay for ridiculous prices. $150 I saw at one point. And I thought that was outrageous. There's no reason that this figure should be that much. So then, but because especially since that the figure came in a set that at retail was $150. There was no way I was going to buy that. There was no goddamn way. Well, until at the flea market that I bought Grimlock and a couple other things on this list, I found the set. Now, these guys I usually do business with, they sometimes know exactly what they got in their collection and what they're going to sell, and they know exactly how much to sell it. They sold it for retail. So, whenever I see this figure for $150, I laugh now because I got it for $150 how it was originally intended. Enough beating around the bush. Titans Return, Nautica. This thing, like I said, at one point I thought like we're going to get better ones than this, but we haven't, and I don't think we are for now. So I had to get this, and then I saw the prices were ridiculous, but that's what made this so awesome, is that I got this how it was intended for the price that it was intended, and like everybody charging the price that it was on eBay. So to have Nautica is so awesome because it's just like a very obscure like fembot in my opinion. Not obscure, newer, I guess. But to add to the collection of my fembots, it's so awesome. And is it great? No. It's the Blur mold. And if you like the Blur mold, you do. But it's not the greatest. But I think because because I think it's Nautica and I think of everything, all things incorporated with it, I think it's worth it. I very much enjoy it. I very much like it. I think it's worth the whole set price, even if I don't really like the rest of the set. I wanted to start this a long time ago, but I just never did, and I never could. And then finally, I could. But I wanted to start it with another one, but my friends talked me out of getting that one. And then finally, when I had the money to get that, I come back and the thing's gone. And this is the only one that was remaining. Luckily, it's my second favorite of the group. MMC's or Ocular Max's Blast Off. I forgot what it's called. Voltus. I don't remember name here. I like this. So Ocular Max has been so mostly misses for me. I did their Tiergus Rally, whatever it's called, that Diaclone hoist figure. I don't like it. And then there's another figure of Ocular Max that I bought. Yeah, but anyway, this did it, and it just because I don't think it feels like Ocular Max, and in fact, it doesn't even really feel that much like a Masterpiece toy in my opinion. It's supposed to be, but I don't feel it, and I very much enjoy how this thing transforms. I really do. I think it's such a fun and neat transformation. And I dig it a whole lot, and I want the rest of the set. I pre-ordered a bunch of the sets, but they haven't shown back up yet. Ain't that just the nuttiest thing? But anyway, I can't help it. I love this thing. I really do. And I wish to get... The one I really wanted was Fraudo, Swindle, but my friends talked me out of it. Should have just not listened to my friends. Should have just been a bastard. But alas, I do enjoy this, and I think this thing's great. And I think this thing's gonna. What was it? 6. Yeah. I don't think I would have felt good if I skipped on this because I had FOMO of the Unicron, and I'm glad I got this, and I actually have 1.5 of these things. Star Saber. I own 1.5 because bought 1.5 is because me and Michael, TFA 1024, split one to give to Max as a wedding gift, and we'll talk a little bit more about that in just a second. But like, this thing is so good. I had this fear that, like, even if it is just a crowdsourced thing, that this thing is not going to be great. But like, I sat down for a good hour with this thing, and I enjoyed every little element of it because that's what it was. I sat down and enjoyed this spectacle that I helped, I'm just one person out of the tens of thousands they needed to get this thing done. But I helped do this. I helped put this out. Where's my producer credit on this thing? Where's Larry Arts Productions on the Star Saber? Anyway, I enjoyed the great, like I said, I had a good fun hour. There are a couple things about this thing that I don't like. Look, this part was hard, scary to transform, but it's so awesome. And it made me realize that I needed a Star Saber toy. I don't have a whole lot of Victory stuff. But this thing, I'm glad to have this. I really am. I'm glad to have a Star Saber toy. And I was very on the fence on if I wanted Deathsaurus. But when I got this guy in hand, I transformed him, had fun, and I put down also on Death's Door like the last minute. But the real big thing about this all is that I got to see Max. Well, I didn't get to see it, but I got to hear Max's happiness about this because this means a lot to him. It means a lot more than me to him. And when me and Michael sat down and decided this is the thing we needed to do, it made me happy, and it made him just so happy. And to hear his excitement and joy while he was trying, because he was voice messaging and all that during the time of this thing when it came in, and it warmed my heart. And I think that ultimately made me like this thing just a little more. I don't have a great appreciation for it, obviously, but there are people that do, and that just brought me enough joy. It probably makes no sense what the hell I'm talking about, but like somebody else's joy of this thing, just see that it happened, makes me appreciate it just a little bit more, I guess is the thing. This thing's been on a stand since I got it. I've not really even touched it since I put it in all in this big mode, but oh yeah, there's little mini con guys. But anyway, I really like this, and I'm glad I put in for this. It's wonderful. So, this was a figure that I really wanted when it came out, but no place near me had it. And then whenever I did go to those places, I didn't have enough money for it. And so because of that, I suffered the consequences. And it just disappeared, and people were charging ridiculous prices for it. I finally found it for just $20 more than retail, and I felt like that's worth it to me. Skylynx. I have the Combiner Wars Skylynx. I don't think needs to. This is redundant to say. Had a lot to be desired. It's a Voyager. It's small and like, yeah, that's nice and that's fine, but it needs to be big. And I was always hoping for, like, I don't know, somebody was going to make a oversized KO of it, and it never happened. And then finally this got revealed, and I absolutely needed it, but unfortunately I didn't get it at the time. And I got lucky and found it at the flea market for $100, and I thought, nope, he's going home with me now. This thing's bigger than I thought it was going to be. Because, like, I have the other Commanders. Is that Command? Yeah, Commanders. And they're big. But this is ginormous. Which is just funny. Speaking about the other Commanders, I got the other two Commanders on clearance. I got Jetfire for $40, and I never saw him again. And then I got Kingdom Rodimus just recently for, like, I think he was $30, worth it. So I guess the only, the price to pay for that is that I had to pay more than retail for this thing. And I think it's worth it, and I really do think this thing's worth $100. I was willing to pay $120 for this thing. Also, you can just choke it. I took a very funny photo when I got this thing, and I made it look like, why you little, on bot posting. And I very much enjoy this thing. This thing brings me great joy. It's such a big fella. I deeply love him. It's just a silly, goofy-ass idea. And they made it a big-ass toy, and I love it. It's so great. It's precious. All right. I want to say this, that the next 4 toys were actually each a spot up. So this would have been third. But you'll soon see. This means a whole goddamn lot to me. I have wanted this figure for quite some time, and it has been a holy grail of mine. Ever since I saw my friend Matt, 360verse, have it. And I've always wanted it, and I've deeply desired having it. I had no other things that I really wanted as much as this thing, and I kept checking eBay for it for a good price, and they never showed up. Well, I finally found it. It's because Matt sold it to me. Cloud Rodimus. Hot Rodimus. I'm still in awe of this thing, and it's still just the fucking Springer mold, but this thing just means a whole lot to me. And first up, it also just means a whole lot in the quality of my friend Matt, who was willing to sell this to me. And that means so much to me, just that alone. And Springer toy mold is my genuine favorite Transformer toy mold of all time. So to have almost every one of them complete, other than little repaints of Springer, it means quite a bit. But I really do. I'm such a loss for words that I have this still in my hand. It's just a super nice toy, super well designed. I regret not getting these whenever they came out, and like I said, it comes from a really good friend, and a friend that was willing to let me have this. And this thing's gonna be in my collection probably for the rest of my life. Unless, no, it's just gonna be with me for the rest of my life unless Matt needs it back at some point in life. But this is just so wonderful, and I really appreciate it. Like, it's just so beautiful. I can't stop saying it. It just, and it means a lot. I'm going to literally circle around with words at this point. It truly is an honor to have this in my hand. That's really the end I'm going to say. I'm going to finish my words with that. Yeah. Speaking of great friends and what they had done and how they helped me, number 3 goes to 2 friends, but it kind of just mostly goes to one. My friend Joe Powell found this thing in one of his shops, and he knew I always wanted one, and he got it for me. Obviously, I paid him back, and I'm super grateful to have this. And the other friend was Dakota, because he gave me this a part of this a long time ago, and I needed it. G1 Bruticus. As far as I know, this is an authentic G1 Bruticus, not a reissue, not a KO. This is the real deal. And this thing was a fucking project and a half. It literally was. I spent, and I will admit this, $190 to complete this thing. And actually, I think it's actually a little more than that. I think it was like, at the end of it all, it was $199. I almost was tempted to buy one more dollar worth of something for this thing. And the figure that Dakota and Joe had to help with was the Onslaught. I don't know which Onslaught it was, but one of them was broken as shit. But I used both of them together, and it's together now. And I got Repro label sets for this, Toy Hack sets. They go everywhere. This was a project. I meant to film this too. I meant to make this a video, like a little video series of me doing this. But I had no time, and one day I just randomly had the energy to do it. And I did. And it's so wonderful. This has been a figure I've deeply have wanted. I've had the G1 issue Optimus Prime. But this is my second favorite Transformer character at all time, Bruticus. To have this means a whole lot. And it means a whole lot that my buddy Joe looked at this in the store and was like, yeah, that's going to be for my friend Larry. And it truly is. It means a whole lot to me. And it also means a lot that Dakota sent me the Onslaught years and years ago. Or a year ago. I don't remember exactly, but he sent me that. And it all just came circled around together. It's just, oh, it's wonderful. Number 2 was number 1 until just a few days before the end of the year. In fact, it was number 1 until just an hour or so ago while I was when I was printing out this list. Matt helped me acquire this thing, and because no one had it over here for some fucking reason. But now it's in my hand. Movie masterpiece, Bumblebee movie, Optimus Prime. This thing is a work of art. I enjoy this a lot. The Bumblebee movie, Optimus Prime, is my favorite Optimus Prime design to exist. It's such a good combination of like the G1 aesthetic and the movie aesthetic, and it just means a whole lot. What got me into Transformers was the movies, and what's made me stay has been Optimus Prime all this time. So to have my favorite in like a fun figure, like honestly, this is like one of the few movie masterpiece figures that are like actually fun to transform. I know masterpiece doesn't mean fun, but like they don't have to be fucking hard either. And it's such a breath of fresh air to have such a awesome design transform well, and it's actually fun to do it. Once again, it means a whole lot that Matt found this deal for me, and I got this in my possession. It really does mean a lot. This is genuinely probably one of my favorite Optimus Prime figures. But it's just number 2. What's number 1? Well, it's just honorable mention time. Let's get it out of the way. There's actually a few dishonorable mentions this year for the first time in a while. Usually it's just one thing or like a couple things or nothing. This year, no way. I didn't want to get this one out. Legacy Skids. I did not like this thing. I genuinely had worries about it when it was coming out, and I still was optimistic. And I got it. Sucked. I didn't like it. And I didn't get the burnout for it, and I didn't get this and that. I did not like the damn thing. I thought it was awful looking. I'm upset that this one sucks. It's fucking Night Countess, APC Toys. I touched APC Toys when I visited, like, Max. I got to feel what those felt like, and they were great. Why does this one suck? Like, this is supposed to be an improvement on the old one. The old one sucked. How'd you make it not good? It's fine. If you leave it for just what it's supposed to be, I guess, you know, display, it's fine. I want to fucking play with it. It's a toy, for Christ's sakes. Oh, well. It sucks that it sucks, though. Okay. This was the other Ocular Max thing that I don't like. Hellion. What the fuck was wrong with this thing? I was trying to transform at one point for 30 minutes because I was afraid it was going to break in half. And then it just happened, and I've been afraid to touch it, transform it ever since. It looks great. It genuinely does. But it's awful to transform, and I never will transform it again. This is it. This is how it's going to stay. It's going to look like that. I don't care. This is kind of like picking on like the not popular kid. But Authentics RC, it genuinely sucks ass. And I don't understand why. And I get it. I understand we want a good RC toy. But I remember seeing people like thinking like, oh, this is it. This is the good one. No. It is ass. It has never been good. I don't know why anybody... Why do you like the shoulders? Why do you like the tiny little arms? Why do you like the weirdest fucking knees and transformation elements of knees I have ever seen in a Transformers toy? It's $5, and it feels like it should have been free. Let's go to number 1. Number 1. I got this for Christmas. It was something I wanted all year. But I just didn't have the money every time to get it. And I just never had the chance. And I bought a bunch of expensive shit. But this was one that I was like, I can justify not buying it and getting it just yet. But I got it for Christmas. And I regret not getting it before Christmas. At first, this was number 4. But I really had to think about this one, and I really did. Like, genuinely thought about this, and the experience that I had with it, and everything about it. It's a miracle it exists. It's a miracle that we even could buy this, and that this wasn't a thing fans made and you could just buy it off some website. This is an official product from not only Transformers and Hasbro. It's a product from Lego. How did we get this? Hasbro has been a rival. They consider Lego a rival toy company, and they have done their best in the years to do everything in their power to try to be better than Lego. They done Creo. They did whatever the hell that other thing was. I don't remember. There was no way in hell we were ever going to get a Transformer thing. There was no way after so long, we thought, no, that's it. And it makes sense. Why would they make Lego sets of Transformer stuff? There's no point. But it happened. We're looking at it. It genuinely happened. And let me just say this. They could have been real fucking lazy with this. They could have just made it this. A statue. And they could have called it a day, would have got our money, and just said, good partnership. But they tried. They genuinely tried. And they gave us the coolest fucking thing. One of the coolest things in my collection. When I built this, I was so satisfied at the end. And whenever I was genuinely happy about this thing. Like this almost feels this feels like if I had to stop collecting, this was a good end. This was it. I could tell that people that, my last Transformer was the Lego set. And I don't think I would be upset. There are, of course, other stuff I want in the Transformer. There's still some grails. But if by some circumstance of God that I had to call it quits, I think I'm good. I think we're good. We had a good run. This thing transforms, and it is so fun. I genuinely have a blast with this thing every time, and it has truly gave me so much, such a blast. I know I keep saying that, but like, this is so wonderful. And I'm so happy that it is in my collection. I regret not buying this quicker. I really do. This is by far one of my favorite Transformers of all time. I don't care that it's simple. I don't care that it's not 100% perfect. It doesn't have knees. You can list, I could sit down and tell you all the flaws this has. This has a page worth of flaws. But where it also has flaws, I feel it has charm and charisma. And this is perfect. Genuinely 100% perfect. It's my favorite character. And it is in my childhood toys. I remember growing up with Lego, and that was my toys for the longest time. When my brothers let me have all the Lego sets that they had, all I ever could do was just play with Lego sets and build Lego stuff all the time. So to have so much of my childhood, my teenage years, and my adulthood rolled into one thing, it honestly makes me emotional. I really do mean it. This is by far, and I really mean no exaggeration by this, the best Transformer toy of my life. I love this thing. I'm, of course, not announcing my retirement of collecting, but if I had to stop, I'm glad this is it. Obviously, after this, I bought G-Axis and Legacy Elite 1, and I bought Road Hauler. But we'll consider this the end if it had to be that. So, that was my top 15 of the year. What's your top 15? I like hearing people talk about their favorite stuff of the year. It's such a very interesting thing. Of course, a lot of people have like similar tastes and similar things, but still is fun, and to see like people have like different experiences. And this is, I hope to hear at least somebody talk about this maybe. But, so, 2023, it's finally here. What are you expecting? What are you hoping, Larry? So, 2023. Is there anything we can expect, Larry? Is there anything in the pipeline? Hopefully. There's a lot of things I want to talk about, but there's a lot I don't want to either. And it's nothing bad. It's not like I'm hiding some stuff from you people. But I think I have a new philosophy in announcing things and doing stuff. And I'm taking a book out of one of my favorite content creator, Zach Hadel's, that if I don't have anything to announce, if I don't have anything to show, I'm not going to announce it. I'm not going to say this anymore. I'm not going to tease that something's going to come and just not have anything done. It's not only a letdown to you people, you guys, it's a letdown to me. I've promised the Secret Transformers movie for years, and I've also promised other projects to people. And where are they? I feel like now, unless it's ready to come out, there is no reason for me to talk about what's coming in the future. So, no more update videos, really. Just maybe some trailers or just some fun little stuff on the side. I just guess I really should just say, stay tuned and find out what I have in plan. I do have a lot in plan, but I'm not going to talk about it. Anyway, guys, thanks for tuning in, and until I see you guys again, this has been Larry, and he moves his little head.